Thank you. Welcome, everybody. We're here today to talk about the convergence of PR and paid media. And I'll start by talking a little bit about audience partners. We were formed in 2006 as a political online targeting company. We started off doing political campaigns, and when we started the company, the web was a different place than it is now. We were buying websites and doing paid search and trying to figure out what sites people were visiting in order to serve them advertisements. Over time, we've started acquiring data sets to be used for accurate targeting. We acquired accurate offline data sets and we brought them online. The first example of this was an online voter file. We took 162 million registered voters in the US and we were able to place them online and match them to online users. And that enabled us to serve voter-targeted advertising in different geographies across the country. In addition to using this data to target users, we also developed unparalleled reach in order to reach people wherever they may be surfing the web. So the idea shifted from finding people on the right website to finding people no matter what website they were on, using the data that we acquired. This precise targeting, combined with the unlimited reach that we had, enabled us to cut out a lot of the waste that we typically see in online advertising. This reach also extended across video, display, mobile, social, and search. So we were able to reach users no matter what device they were on and whether they were consuming online video or they're using their phone or doing Google search. A key component to the data that we use is privacy compliance. When we're dealing with politics, one of the most important things was that the personal information of the user would be stripped out at the time of the match. So basically, we would start with a voter file, which tells you whether you're a registered Republican, Democrat, Independent, and then the name and address of that individual would be stripped out, and an anonymous ID would be created. So when a web browser would bring up a site, we would know that that person's a registered Republican or Democrat, but we would not know their name or address. It's very important to keep the privacy in mind. With web targeting, people are often uncomfortable thinking that we're invading their privacy. In reality, it's much less invasive than direct mail or even television advertising in some regards. How does this relate to PR agencies? In the last several years, blogging and social media have caused a major shift in the way PR agencies operate. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, you see these logos, they're all very important as social media outreach. In the past, when trying to reach people in paid media or earned media, a lot of times PR agencies would place articles in newspapers, call television stations, and try and get anything written that they could about their client. And nowadays, though, it's really important that while this is going on, that subsequent efforts on social media are in place. So a PR release that goes out now has to be placed on a Facebook page, has to be tweeted on Google+, even Instagram and YouTube. So what we're seeing in our world is a shift in the PR agency where the paid media team is coming together with the earned media team, and it's more of a convergence that we've seen before. In order to really facilitate this, the PR agency needs to understand more about how to become what we call a digital sharpshooter. In the past, the PR agency has really been interested in reaching a specific audience with a specific message. Sometimes this has been done through regular news outlets and with the hope that it reaches the right audience. With the tools that we're going to describe today, this can now be done in a very specific and precise way and copied on social media as well as in earned media. Bringing your message directly to the target audience. Some stats here. 85% of US adults are online, 27% of time is spent on social networks, and 65% is on mobile. All of these numbers are increasing daily, especially the mobile figure. We are all on multiple devices every day, and we are on social networks several times a day as well. So in order to reach people in the proper method that we want to find them, we need to be covering all of these avenues. Using the data that we're going to discuss today, we can show you how to do this in a very targeted way. So, reaching key audiences through traditional tactics has become more difficult. And part of the reason is because people are using different devices and consuming content in many different ways. We are typically on 2 devices at one time. We're watching television and we're on our cell phones. We're on our laptops with our iPad nearby. And so our strategy is we're going to find this audience no matter what device they're on and what website they're looking at. In order to coordinate this, the digital strategy must be comprehensive. So as you're a PR agency and you're working on a plan for a client, you need to coordinate the digital along with all of the offline or earned media tactics. And so we've seen this convergence happening. However, we've also learned that the PR agencies are not fully up to speed on all of the tactics that are available. There's a lot of tools and technologies that are out that are new and interesting ways of working this convergence. Using targeted delivery, though, we can guarantee that the right message gets to the right person. It's a 4-screen world, and as I alluded to earlier, many times it's 2 screens at one time. So this chart is showing the average time spent per day on each screen. So we spend an average of 4.5 hours a day on television, 2.5 hours on PCs, about an hour on mobile, about an hour on tablets, and an hour on mobile phones. What we're seeing too is that the mobile and the tablet usage is going way up. So I think you'll see in the next year or 2 that those numbers will rise. The other thing that we're seeing is cross-device targeting. So we are able to use the same ad to run on all 4 of these screens and find the user no matter what content they're on. Typically in the past, you might have tried to run a TV ad or a newspaper or magazine ad, and you'd be stuck in that medium. If you were lucky to get an article written and it was in the newspaper, and you would hope that it would be read, or a TV commercial ran, you would hope that someone was watching. With the precise measurement that we have with our tools, we can tell who's watching, what device they're on, what message they clicked on, and then finally what result they took on the website, or the social media page. So we are very effective in driving traffic using the 4 screens. Daily time spent on media. So Americans spend a lot of time consuming media, and you can see the digital trend is going way up. Where television is about flat, print and radio are going down. And we see the digital chart going way up in the last 2 years. And we expect that in the next 2 years it's going to at least double the numbers that you see here. And this is, again, because of the different devices and the way we consume media, we are able to see this digital line go way up. And it becomes even more important for us to find the right ways to reach people on digital. Okay, so part of what we work on a lot here is finding the right message at the right time. And we've seen that there's certain times of day where people use, and this makes sense from your daily activity. Personally, I check my phone early morning and all day too, but I'm on my phone first thing in the morning. Then I get to work and I'm on my computer for most of the day. I come home, watch some television, and I'm on my iPad, and then late night I'm on TV as well. So part of what we do when we run our campaigns is we are going to figure out what device we're reaching people on and what the best time of day to reach them is. And this is due to clicks and also conversion activity. So we want to be able to drive traffic to a website in the right time using the right device, but then we also want to measure the results on the website. And just to give you a quick example, we've learned over time that with political advertising, the best time to get a political donation is in the evening. But the best time to send a branding message about a political campaign is during the daytime. So when we typically run a campaign, we're going to run a branding message during the day, and then we're going to run an ad asking for a donation in the evening. And with our advanced metrics that we have, we are able to slice and dice this information by time of day and device and message. So we're able to tell you with very precise feedback when we're getting the best results. The other part is the specific message that we're working with. So I mentioned that we might send a different message during the day and the evening. We can track each message that we're putting out there, whether it's a video or display ad, and we're able to really tell with very precise detail where we're getting the best results. So not all views are created equal, meaning that, and I mentioned this earlier, that a television ad or a newspaper article, they're very important, no doubt about it, but an earned view is different than a paid view and an owned view. So shared content definitely adds higher level engagements and higher levels of affinity and trust. And we find that with click-through rates, we are able to see an increase with the paid media where we get a lot more traffic to a website. Now certainly earned media will drive traffic to a website as well, but when we're getting clicks and driving traffic, we are sure that it's very consistent to the audience we're trying to reach. Another big part about social media is the sharing aspect. And the typical Facebook user could potentially see 1,500 stories every day. So a big part of what we try and do is, and again, this goes back to earned and paid media, is getting this message to go viral. And using Facebook and Twitter to do it is very important. Facebook posts, you might reach 16% of your fans. However, if you are using sponsored posts from Facebook, you can increase that percentage by a great deal. Another part of it, the 1,500 stories a day is that we all have a lot of noise in our lives from social media. There's Twitter feeds, there's Facebook feeds, there's Instagram, and there's all sorts of other things that we're using to consume content. It's more difficult than ever to cut through the noise. However, with the targeting tactics that we have, we are able to do this very accurately. Paid media can jumpstart your viral reach. So the idea is if you get a good article out, and let's say it's an earned media article, and then subsequently you do a Facebook sponsored story, that could jumpstart your viral reach. And your Facebook fan page could jump up, and you could have a lot more likes for it. Or you could have more people following you on Twitter or engaging with your website. So using paid media to get this viral effect has been very effective for many of our clients. So how do we use big data? Big data now allows us to segment the market with pinpoint accuracy. So a couple of the data sets that we use, I mentioned the political file. We also do a lot of work with healthcare clients. And these could be pharmacies, hospitals, health insurance companies, pharma companies, clinical trial organizations, and they're all providing us specific data segments to use for targeting. So we are able to use this first-party data to target an online audience on all those screens. Okay? And the next part about it is third-party data. We have about 33 partnerships with third-party data companies to supplement the first-party data that we are using. An example of this is if we were to use the voter file example where we're targeting a registered Republican voter in the state of California, that might be a great start. However, the client may say to us, we want to reach people with a high income, that have children in the home, and drive a luxury vehicle. So what we'll do in this case is we'll take our first-party data from the voter file and we'll combine third-party data attributes and behavioral data to give us a better view of our audience. At the same time we're doing this, we're going to use micro-messaging to establish a one-to-one communication experience. So when we design a campaign, we're going to take a look at the audience that we're trying to reach, and we're going to build different micro-segments of those audiences. Now, each specific audience is going to get a separate ad message. We're going to segment that audience, and we're going to test the different messages by the audience and also on the device that we're showing. Now, the key component to this is measurement on the website. So let's say we have 3 different audience segments, and we're testing the best message. We're testing 3 different messages to the 3 different audience segments. In addition, we have 3 different ad sizes. So we're going to be looking at a whole bunch of different metrics on which ad size, which audience, and which message is working the best. And the way we measure the best message is we're looking at the website analytics. So we're looking at how much time people spent on the website. We're looking at email signups. We're looking at donations or product purchases. Or it could be a branding message where we just want to get people to the website. Once we start to get this data in, we adjust the audience segments to make sure that we're getting the optimal value. Typically, every campaign that we do, we start off with a very good game plan of what we're trying to achieve. But during the campaign, we are continuing to optimize. This optimization starts off in the first day and continues for every day that we run the campaign. Almost every time, over 30 to 60 to 90 days, our campaigns are performing a lot better. Now, this is a combination of our human element of looking at the metrics and segmenting the audience, and also our platform. Our platform is able to optimize the campaigns to the best performing messages. Now, this could be to a click-through rate, to total volume of impressions or clicks, but also it could be to conversions. So if our goal is to get email signups on a website, we can tell our system that if we're getting email signups from a certain audience, we should be serving more ads to that audience. Or a specific message that's working, we will use that message because we know it's converting the best. Now, another big part, let me switch to the next one. Another big part of this is looking at the entire ecosystem of where we're showing ads and trying to figure out which one is providing the most conversions. So you can see here that we're targeting the same audience across display, video, social, mobile, TV, and email. And in the middle is where our audience is. We sometimes have a very good idea beforehand where we're going to get the best response, but the metrics will always tell us the true story. So if we are seeing great performance in display, we will put more budget into display. Mobile or TV or video working better, we'll put more budget into those. But one thing that we also have to keep in mind is that search marketing is a big part of everything we do. A lot of times people will see an ad, a video or a display ad, or something on a social network, and then they'll go back to Google and Google the particular thing that they saw. So that brings up a thing we call attribution. Now, attribution is being able to tell which one or which combination of the ads that we are showing are providing the best result on the website. And for example, you may see a video ad or a display ad for a particular product, and you may click or you may not, but you might jot yourself a note down to look at it later. Later in the evening, you're not going to have that video or display ad in front of you, so the first thing you're probably going to do is go to Google and Google the item that you saw. Then you click over on a Google paid search ad, you go to the website, and you make the purchase. So Google search will get credit for that conversion. The reality is that that person, before they clicked on Google search, they saw your ad on video, display, mobile, or social. So what we want to do is we want to be able to understand that pathway to conversion, and that's what attribution is. So measuring that is a very important part of the process in order to really get the result that we want on the website. Now, part of this is targeting audience and not media placements. And I mentioned in the beginning how we used to buy websites based on what type of audience we thought were going there. Well, typically now, because of the different screens and the different devices, we're looking at 50, 100 web pages a day. In my case, sometimes 200 web pages a day. But I don't know, you can't look at my web browsing history and really figure out a lot about me because there's hundreds of different sites. The idea is we're going to try and find the individual no matter what site they're on. And based on the reach of our network, we have thousands and thousands of sites in our network, we're able to find these people at scale. So we start off with a data set and build segmentation, and then we serve the audiences on hundreds of sites and figure out where we're getting the best results. Now, a big part of this convergence with PR is cutting out the media middleman and bringing the message directly to the audience. Historically, PR agencies have been focused on B2B a lot and finding other businesses and promoting them. Now there's more of an opportunity to be directly talking to the consumer and the target audience on the web. And this is done a lot through data and a lot through social. And so basically getting directly the message to the audience, we can drive value for our clients. Okay, so a lot of new tools. This focuses on Facebook. It's been a very interesting year and a half or so since Facebook went public. There's a lot more products that they use to target audiences. Two of the best are the top two, which are Facebook custom audiences and retargeting. So for the first, we are now able to upload a list, any kind of first-party list with email addresses, and match them with a Facebook audience. So for example, if your client has 1,000 members of, let's say, a magazine subscription, and they want to sell a book to those magazine subscribers, we can upload that list to Facebook and do a match. Now typically we see a 60 to 80% match to Facebook audiences. Once we have that match, we're able to serve a Facebook ad directly to those magazine subscribers and make them a new offer. This is a very, very valuable tool, and we've had a lot of success with it. The second tactic is retargeting on Facebook. And I'll give you a brief rundown on retargeting, although I'm sure everyone has been retargeted at some point. Typically when you visit a website now, your browser will have a pixel dropped on it, a retargeting pixel, which is just basically a piece of code that's put inside of the website. Then when you travel around the web to other websites, we were able to serve an ad to that individual when they go to a different website. So sometime last year, Facebook opened up retargeting. If you drop a Facebook pixel on your website now, we're able to find people later on when they go onto Facebook. So if you combine Facebook custom audiences with retargeting on Facebook, you're really covering a lot of ground with social media. The next part is sponsored stories, and I mentioned this earlier because in PR, a lot of it is getting an article written and getting people to post it on social media. We can run ads next to a story that show up in someone's news feed. So if a friend of mine shares an article about a ball game and I see a sponsored story trying to sell me a jersey for that team underneath it, that's a good placement for an ad. And that's basically combining an earned media with a paid sponsored story from Facebook. This has been very effective. The last thing that we do, and the hottest growing market for Facebook, is in mobile phones. People are increasingly consuming social media on their mobile phones, and the results that we're getting are phenomenal. So when we typically do a campaign, we're going to try all four of these tactics on Facebook. And we want to spend a lot of time and energy understanding where we're getting the best results, because we also have that viral effect. Earlier I mentioned that the paid media can spur viral reach. Well, this is one of the best ways to do it, by buying media on Facebook and getting people to share. Another big thing that this can help is to drive up likes to a Facebook page. We've been very successful at getting likes for a very small amount of money on Facebook. So we can drive up a like of a Facebook page. Now, the second part about that is something that the PR agency needs to be very involved with, is providing good content for the Facebook page. So what we always tell clients is we can do a great job in getting your likes up, but you have to be in charge of putting good content on your social media. So this is really an important concept, and the first part is something that PR agencies have been doing for a long time, and combining that with what we do will drive very good social media results. Okay, Twitter. Twitter is becoming, it's very interesting because Facebook went public a year and a half ago and introduced a lot of new ad formats, and now the same thing is happening with Twitter. Promoted tweets and accounts have been around for a long time. However, they haven't been used that frequently, and now they are starting to be. Coming soon is another concept, which is custom audiences that we have on Facebook. We will soon be able to do that on Twitter. Again, the most important part is combining the paid event with earned content, with posting material on Twitter that's relevant to the user. There's a lot of exciting things going on at Twitter, and a combination of using Facebook and Twitter ads with earned media is very effective for many clients. Okay, LinkedIn. Another very promising avenue that we've used is LinkedIn ads. LinkedIn is a very important network because of the information that a user puts in. Now, getting back to the Facebook and Twitter for a sec, we are able to use their targeting tools, and they're based on what information people provide voluntarily to the social network. So, for example, on Facebook, you may volunteer things that you like, or your age, or your birthday, or your hometown. And for Twitter, you might put your interests and who you follow, and you might have Twitter lists. LinkedIn, it's about your job and about the industry you're in and the job function, what type of school you go to, what are your skills. So these are all targeted attributes, targetable attributes on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is getting very effective in targeting advertising to specific job types and geographies. Once again, this provides us with another social network to expand our reach and find the audience no matter where they're spending time. This is sponsored influence. So this is another very exciting new thing that we're working with. It's sponsored tweets, blog posts, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. The idea here is that native advertising is getting very big. You may have heard the term native advertising, which it means of several different things. In this case, this is sponsored influence. So to give you an example, let's say there's a celebrity that's currently running a TV ad trying to sell a pair of shoes. We can now get that celebrity to tweet about the shoes, to put a Facebook post up, to put a picture up of them wearing something on Instagram. Because they have so many followers, we're able to drive traffic back to a website in order for the site to sell a product or to brand their product. There are 700,000 influencers in our network that range from entertainment to sports, politics, news, medicine, lawyers. There's hundreds of thousands of different influencers that we can tap into to promote with blog posts or sponsored tweets. Now this ties directly back into historical things that PR's companies have been doing. Typically you might in the past have had a reporter that you're friendly with, and you called them up and said, we'd love for you to put something in your newspaper about our client. Well, we could still do that. However, now we can actually pay for blog posts or tweets based on a bidding algorithm. And what I mean by that is we're going to bid for these influencers a certain amount and see if they accept our bid. So we're going to, let's say the influencer is an athlete, and we'll pick a football player, Tom Brady. And so let's say we want Tom Brady to get to talk about our shoes, and we will say, okay, Mr. Brady, we're going to give you $5,000 to tweet for us. And he may say, I make $16 million a year, that's not enough money. So we're able to say, okay, we have to bid higher for Tom Brady. And then the price may get to be too much, and we say, well, it's not worth it. We're going to pick another football player who might not be as famous, but still has lots of followers online. So basically, there's a lot of people online that have social following, that have big followers online, and they may not be the most famous person around, but they have people online that follow them frequently. We want to tap into that network and get people to put messages out for our clients. Now again, this has to be seen not by itself, but as a tool in conjunction with Facebook, Twitter, and all the other things that we talked about. It's a very exciting new thing for us, and we think it'll be very effective for the future. Okay, so we have developed a national influencer network. And the National Influencer Network is one of our proprietary data sets. And what we've done is we've put together a database of affluent and accomplished individuals in the U.S. And these could be doctors, lawyers, business executives, government executives, education, also people that are wealthy and give to philanthropy. So if you have a client that's looking for donors or looking to reach wealthy individuals or fundraising executives, we are able to use our proprietary data set to target those people. The interesting thing about this influencer network is it's continually growing and adding. We're constantly putting new data sets into it and making it bigger. And we feel like it covers lots of ground for many different clients that you may have. So the core audience of this influencer network is 77 million individuals along with their connections. So it's not just the influencer themselves, it's their entire business network. And so that's enhanced by LexisNexis matching algorithm, which enables us to really expand the reach. So we start off with the influencers, and then we're able to reach out into their networks and tap into them using the data connections that we have. So combined, this is over 150 million highly connected individuals. So this provides huge scale, and scale is a very important concept when talking about data. One of the earlier examples I had was using a magazine subscription of 1,000 people. So a client may say to us, well, that's neat and interesting that we have 1,000, but we want to reach 10,000 people. So what our system does is we take those 1,000 people and we look for audiences online that look like those 1,000 people. And so the same concept goes with the business influencers here, where we're looking for their connections, we're looking for friends and family, and we're looking for anyone that might be influenced by this person, and we want to serve them a relevant ad. The second part about this is figuring out what they do on the website and building lookalike audiences based on the website traffic. So we may have a very good idea of who we target using our influencer database, but then we're going to look at who's going to the website, and we're going to build additional audience segments based on who's visiting the site. And our algorithms and our analysis tool can provide very detailed feedback on who's going to the website and what audiences they belong in. Okay, so this is important for many reasons, but mostly it's important because an influencer can shape opinion, can drive traffic to a site, can sell product, can form in political, they can drive votes in a voting day. For health care, it could be very important for the Affordable Care Act. And so we want to get people that have influence on others and serve them relevant ads. So I think this is an expansion of what we're trying to do, is get to the right people and get them to influence their friends. This slide is showing a precise breakdown of the people in our influencer network. And as you can see, there's tons of different things. There's pharma executives, there's people, there's net worth, there's people that own yachts and luxury vehicles. How many children do they have? What kind of marital status? Are they students? Are they parents of students? And then we get into the voter data, which is very precise, down to the state house district and voting history and vote frequency. But I also want to focus on the area selects, which is our geo-targeting. We're able to target using city, state, zip, DMA, cable zone, county, or even country. So this is a very effective tool when combined with the other data targeting. Using the geo-targeting and focusing on a specific audience in a specific geo, we're able to precisely measure those results based on where we're targeting. And so on the next slide, you'll see a map of the U.S., and this shows the accuracy. Each one of those little data points is a particular audience that we're looking for. And we're able to map that audience, and we're able to do a couple things with the mapping. The first thing we're able to do is to provide in a proposal a map of where we're going to serve ads. And this can be a very effective sales and marketing tool. If you would come to us and say, this is who we're trying to reach, and this is the area that we're trying to reach it, we will be able to build a proposal that has the different audience segments and shows precisely on the map where we're going to serve those ads. And That's the first part. The second part is looking at results on the map. So we're able to precisely drill down to see where on the map we're getting clicks, impressions, click-through rates, and conversions. So for example, we may run the same campaign in California as Texas to the same exact audience. We're going to be able to show you on a map where we're getting more impressions, where we're getting the most clicks, and where we're getting the best results on the website. Again, this is a very effective tool visually for reporting, and clients love to see where their ads are being shown. Each one of these segments can be broken down also into a much tighter level by drilling down into each state. We can actually drill down to a street level and look at different households to see what their voter affiliation is, income level, or presence of children. So we appreciate the fact that there are a lot of different people living in different neighborhoods. We don't want to use geo-targeting as the only method of targeting people. We want to be able to precisely target households or neighborhoods with different messaging. Okay. So the basic idea that and this is a basic premise for our entire data-driven online platform, is that better data equals less waste, which equals better results. So sending ads across a wide area and just hoping that we had the right people is similar to carpet bombing back in the day when armies would go and they would drop a bomb on an entire area and hope that they got a bad guy. And now we use targeted drones to make sure we hit the right person. So using data online is a similar concept. Offline data is very accurate and reliable, and it's more accurate and reliable than online data. And so building this data set means we're going to cut out less waste. But when we do our matching, we are able to use the accuracy of the offline data to target people online. So that enables us to cut out a lot of the waste that we would typically see with offline data. The other part about it is using direct mail data for an addressable audience. And I used the example earlier of a magazine subscription, and we're able to use that direct mail data to target people to sell them additional products. And then finally, influencing the influencers, which is what we do on a regular basis. The next part about the better targeting and less waste is the optimization analytics piece. Once we start to see results come in, we are going to build the different audience segments based on who's visiting the site, but also who is taking action. So I mentioned earlier we have look-alike audiences. Another big part of what we do is using act-alike audiences. So we're going to look at the conversion activity on a website, and we're going to look at the different data sets and the segmentation that we use, and we're going to measure who is actually taking action on a site. And once we get that data start to come in, the more conversions that we're able to see, we're able to build additional audience segments. So for example, let's say we're targeting an audience of males and females, and we're not sure which one is going to respond the best. And we have a different message going to both. Well, we're going to look at the website conversion data, and we're going to be able to quickly tell who is visiting the site. Are we getting more clicks from males or females? But more importantly, who's buying the product or who's signing up for an email? And then we're going to look at that conversion metric, and we're going to decide who is really converting the best and who is the best audience. So well, let's say we start to see that males are converting more than females. Well, then we'll start to put more of the budget into the male audience and less into the female audience. So using the analytics tools and the data warehouse that we've built, we're able to do very predictive and optimization tools. We're able to use predictive technology to see what will work best, and then we're able to use the optimization tools to make the campaign smarter. We've run over thousands of campaigns for both politics, healthcare, and other clients, and we are putting all of that data together to learn more about what audiences are doing online. That's the exciting part about our company, is that we continue to refine and improve our tactics in order to increase the accuracy and performance of our campaigns. So as I mentioned in the beginning, back in the day, we used to buy websites and hope that we got clicks. Now we're looking at specific audiences, how they're performing, and what they're doing on websites. We're also looking at cross-channel between social media and between mobile phones. And so we're looking at everything all together, and we're learning more and more all the time. Okay, I think we have about 10 minutes left. Want to see if there's any questions. Okay, first question, are we able to test different creatives and messages with different age groups, gender and ethnicities? Good question. Absolutely we are, and that's something we like to do. The one caveat I will add is that we have to achieve scale with our advertising. So a big part of what we do is the segmentation. However, we have to make sure there's a big enough audience to serve ads to. So we can look for age groups, gender, and ethnicities, but we have to make sure that we're serving enough ads to each audience to really get a good read. And I think that we're able to do this very accurately using the data sets that I mentioned earlier. Another question, what are the options for mobile? Great question. We have a lot of exciting things about mobile. The first thing is mobile web advertising, which banners on mobile sites. The next thing is in-app advertising, where you're looking at an app and you see a banner at the bottom of it. And third is mobile search, which is growing rapidly all the time. Geo-targeting mobile phones is a very effective way to run a mobile campaign. Now, the other part about it is using data to target on mobile phones. This is a very important question that we're working on every day. Mobile phones are different than web pages. They don't accept cookies. In fact, many of them don't even have cookies on their phones. We're able to do cross-device targeting now, though, where we look at a device ID of a phone and match it up to an online user. So we're typically able to target the data sets that we use online and target them on mobile phones. This is very exciting for next year. We see mobile as the biggest growth area for our company. Okay, next question. Are you able to use your client's database through your platform? Yes. So if we have a mailing list from a direct mail campaign, are we able to reach those same people online? Yes, absolutely. This is something that we do all the time. We take the data set and we match it to online IDs. We do have a small match fee each time, but then once that match is done, that audience is always there and ready to be used at any time. And there's no size that's too big for us, actually. We can take millions of records and match them. We prefer bigger files. And yes, this is not just on Facebook, but anywhere on the web. Okay, any other questions out there? Okay, paid tweets. Okay, there's a question here about paid tweets. Can we choose the exact wording that we want to be tweeted? Yes, absolutely we can. I mentioned earlier that part of the thing about social advertising is that the content is very important. When we're doing a paid tweet, we can write the tweets ourselves. Your client can write the tweets and you can send them to us and we can put them on there. However, that's the promoted tweet that goes up when we choose it to be shown. However, the other part of it is the client needs to keep up with their regular tweeting. We encourage this because we're going to be driving people to sign up and follow that account on Twitter. And in order to really be successful, we need the client to be putting up good content all the time. Same thing with Facebook sponsored stories. So this is where the convergence inside your agency would come in handy, because we want you to be able to do these sponsored stories and paid tweets, but we also want the client to be providing relevant content. We're very good at increasing following counts and getting people to like pages on Facebook, but we do need the clients to put out good material all the time. That's where you guys would come in, where you would write good content and put it up on the pages themselves, and then also provide us with the paid advertisements that should go. And I think that's where we're seeing the PR agencies converge a lot, where the two teams are now going to sit together and they're going to say, well, this is what we want to put up on the Facebook page. And then the paid media side is saying, well, we want to put the same message up on the paid side. And I think when it's done together, it's much more effective. Okay, I think we may be done. Any other questions? We'll give a minute or so. Okay. I'd like to thank everyone for joining today. On the screen now is my phone number and contact info. Typically, we'd like to follow up with phone calls, and if anyone has a specific need for a client, we'd be happy to build a proposal. I want to thank everyone for their time and hope you have a great day.